Righto, tell you there, champs, exciting times because Apple have released a new MacBook Pro with M2 Pro and M2 Max, and we're going to talk about that today, and you can see it right here. Have a look at it, Wolf. Yeah, nah, that's not an M2 Mac. That's the last MacBook Pro 14, but it's connected to a 4K display, which is 144 Hz. Guess what? One of the best things about the new Macs is I could only power that display at 60 Hz, that 4K display. Now I can power it at 144 Hz. Or actually up to 240 Hz 4K, so we'll get into that. And I reckon you shouldn't buy one of these, and please let me explain here because it's nothing to do with these laptops not being awesome. I'm going to go through what the updates are, whether you should upgrade, whether you should wait for the M3. Some salient points here. And if you're thinking of getting a new laptop, should you get a Windows one with the new 13980 and RTX 4090 GPUs? Let's discuss. Now I will be talking mainly about the MacBook Pros, but I've got to say this thing here is absolutely amazing. These new M2 Mac Minis with 10 gigabit networking, for the price they are, it really will be hard to match that. So here we have it, the M2 Pro and the M2 Max. Now for me, when someone says do not buy something, I say yeah, suck on a big one, Charlie. Yeah, nah, I'll buy whatever I want, and you should too, but certainly if you're coming from an M1 Pro or M1 Max, do not upgrade to this. It won't be worth it. But if you do need a new Mac right now you have to buy it, yes, go ahead and buy these. Perfect. But if you are someone that could buy a Mac or a PC, definitely wait. I'm going to show you where this has disadvantages and advantages compared to the Intel systems. But first, I'll just go through what the changes are. More CPU cores, more GPU cores, more memory on the M2 Max, slightly better battery life, Thunderbolt 4, which is just Thunderbolt 3 with, all the features implemented, HDMI 2.1 or 2.1B, it doesn't actually say, but it can do 4K 240 Hz and can do 8K 60 Hz, so yeah, much better HDMI on these, and Wi-Fi 6E, Wolf. Let me ask you a question. Did anyone but me tell you that the Macs had the slowest Wi-Fi out of every laptop? Did anyone tell you that? Maybe that's why you should subscribe, because I don't care, Mac or PC, I'll tell you exactly the strengths and weaknesses of both, but no one ever told you that, did they? And we're having twice the performance gains in Wi-Fi with this Wi-Fi 6E. That would only put it on par, okay, with laptops from 2018 in the PC world. Like, that's how bad the Wi-Fi was before. And also new Bluetooth, so yeah. Those are good things. Don't worry about the extra cores or whatever. Extra cores, CPU and GPU. If there's a 20% boost on the CPU, a 30% boost on the GPU. And of course, with the M2 Max, you get up to 96 gigabytes, which is, wow, that's amazing. You can actually allocate that all to graphics if you want. But why I don't think you should buy this is, especially if what you do takes advantage of the hardware acceleration on these Macs, because in that case, you won't really get the benefit of the gains there. But you can see here, Intel compare it to the M2 and the M1 Max. But if I go to another benchmark, the M1 and M2 are missing from this chart. And the reason why it's missing is because the hardware acceleration would probably put these on top of this list. That's where the magic of Apple is. The magic is, it's all silicon on a package there. Low latency, shared high bandwidth with the CPU and GPU, and its hardware acceleration. So if you use that hardware acceleration or anything that uses all the memory you can have for the GPU or hardware encoders or the bandwidth between the CPU and GPU being, a universal design. So in that case, say for example, video editing, these M2 Pro and Max will be able to beat like desktops. Like, this is why they don't show it on this chart. But if you're using apps outside that hardware encoding and all the optimizations that the Apple has, they will fall to the pack very quickly, okay? And these charts, yeah, like no problems. Like, you can add a little bit more for the M2 Max, but let me tell you, quote me now, you'll get about a Cinebench score of around 16,000 with the M2 Max, and the new Intel laptop with the 3980HX will be double the performance, like literally double the multi-core performance and even much faster single core as well. So if you're outside of those optimizations, if what you do is not using the hardware acceleration on these M2 Max or not taking advantage of the architecture of these Apple Silicon products, let me tell you right now, the Intel stuff will blow away the M2 Max. Like, outside of the optimizations absolutely destroy it, like double the multi-core and much faster single core. So you got to know what you're using the Mac for. For me, video editing, ProRes RAW, HEVC, H.264, you can't beat the Mac for that. For video editing, the stuff I do, right? Portable power, long-lasting battery, awesome HDR display. They got the same displays as the last MacBook Pros. What a content creation machine. Now, Intel have forgot that these parts go in laptops. The Intel laptops are going to be hair dryers, especially with an RTX 4090. The battery life will be, 5-6 hours. On battery, the performance will drop quite dramatically. But if you just want performance and, of course, gaming, the Intel platform with an RTX 4090 is the way to go. So why I say don't buy this is, I reckon maybe at the end of this year, they will have M3 Macs that destroy this, because they are very far behind Intel in, single core and multi-core. So hopefully the M3 is, another leap. Hopefully just the raw performance, other than, its built-in hardware accelerations, gets better, because it does need to. Now the Intel does use like 3 times the power. We know this. That's the trade-off, right? Use more power, you get more performance. And just remember, Intel has hardware accelerations too. You got AV1, right? These Macs don't have AV1. AV1 is better than HEVC. So unless you need one of these Macs now, I reckon you'll wait for the M3, because hopefully that will catch up to Intel and Nvidia. And if you don't care about battery life, etc., and I think if you just want raw power and what you do doesn't use the Apple accelerators, you're better off with the Intel and Nvidia solution for just raw performance. So yeah, anyway, catch you next one. Tally ho.